adults, understand that my body does not work the way you want it to. Please don't be a me.
Hello, this is Leta, and this is me and my mommy's podcast, and then my mommy, and there's me, and I'm just talking about this stuff, and there's me tap dancing, because this is a tap dancing slash autism podcast, and there's a bunch of animals, and I'll be trying to eat my hair, and there's a bunch of sand in the ocean. Also, there's all the soul talk stuff, and I'm on my mentor, oh, that, oh, and also, oh, yes, like life stuff and tap dancing. Oh, and also there are my boots. My boots are amazing. Also, there's me, trying not to have a panic attack. Also, this is a podcast about me, autism, and tap dancing, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just ADHD in this thing. Also, there's my cute, adorable puppies.
Leta,
Hi, I am Leta. That's my mom. This is Jackie. It's Jack. Jack, you have anything to say with your smooshy little first face?
for everyone listening
Yes,
on
nothing to say with your little smooshy first face.
For-
Of smooshy douche. Oh, and also if anybody says anything bad about my mother, so help me.
For anyone listening on the many podcast streaming services, you can find Leta's Tap Styles on. Jack is the Staffy Pity mix that belongs to the podcast, and he has decided to join us on the podcast today. Leta, we're going to bring this into Tap this week. I was hoping we'd do something fun and choreography, but you said something this weekend, and I'm like, we got to talk about this.
Well, all I said is, why do people keep thinking I'm left foot dominant when I'm right foot dominant? And why do people keep saying the stupid thing of, oh, if your right hand's dominant, your left foot's dominant. Oh, if your left hand's dominant, your right foot's dominant. Blah, 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 blah.
Quick thing, you are not left foot dominant. What you are is left eye dominant.
Right foot dominant.
But the thing is, when you are doing pirouettes, when you're doing turns, when you're moving, you move to the right because you're left eye dominant, which makes perfect sense. Like, I called up your ophthalmologist while I was out shopping yesterday, and you were doing soul talk going, hey, so I wondering something, and she laughed at me and went, I knew that since she was 6. And because I was like, did you know Leta's left eye dominant? Which I'm pretty sure I just should have known, but didn't think it through. And the response I got was, I've known that since she was 6. You did you kind of lose your ever loving mind?
Remember when we went to get me tested for dyslexia?
Well, I think I did remember, but I think because, like she said, for you, it makes perfect sense you're left eye dominant because your right eye is your lazy eye. So what? And that's one of the reasons we haven't fixed that right eye, because that's not your dominant eye. So it's not as big of a deal. And you have a very slight lazy eye, so it's not as huge of a deal for you to fix. But I think something you said sparked why we have Autistic Wings Dance Company, is because teachers teach how to pirouette right eye dominant. Most of the time, right hand, right eye dominant. But it is not as uncommon as you think, especially within neurodiverse areas, for left eye, right hand, right eye, left hand. When you are doing your pirouettes, you need to be turning towards the least dominant eye because you're holding a spot. And if you're turning with your dominant eye moving first, you've lost that spot. You are then puppy disappeared on you. But no, does that make any sense what I'm saying? Like, if you are turning to the right, you can keep your balance and everything easier because your left eye is fully tracking as you're turning.
The puppy left me.
Does that make sense, Leta?
The puppy left me.
Puppy left. This is what happens when you do a podcast with two autistic people. You are over there on the puppy left deal. But does it make kind of sense that what people are seeing as a dominant deal, 110% is something totally different, because you track better with the dominant eye. I mean, ignoring the neurodiversity, the neurospicy stuff, you're always going to track better with your dominant eye. Everyone tracks better with their dominant eye, but no one had ever tested you to see what your dominant eye was other than your ophthalmologist, had they?
Yeah.
Dance teacher ever made you do the test I made you do yesterday because
That was just like once, and they said, no, you're right eye dominant, not left. They said, no, you're right. You're right. No, do it again, do it again, do it again. Why are you controlling it? Here, let me just push it back to you thing. Oh, why did you forcibly make it go to your left? I didn't even feel the strength of you forcibly making it go to your left.
no one should be guiding your hands on that test. But it's a fairly simple test. You look at a spot on the wall, you form a triangle with your hands, and you bring your hands back to your face. And whichever eye you land on is which eye dominant you are. But let's discuss pirouettes and turns. When you turn to the left, how much harder is it for you?
I fall.
It's because they're teaching you to turn to the left as though you're right eye dominant. There's a different way, like, you know how when they're teaching everyone to turn to the right, which is their dominant eye, and most of these students, they teach them how to pirouette slightly differently.
Yeah.
You need to be mirrored what they're doing, but they have never tried to see that because I think a lot of dance teachers don't understand that dominant eye needs to be the one following, because if it's the one leading, you lose that spot quicker. Do you
Is
not?
that why I can never pirouette to the left?
Yeah, because they're not teaching you how to because they're teaching you to pirouette to the left as though that's your dominant eye. And so when they're teaching you to pirouette to the left, it's also why sometimes when they're saying how to teach you to pirouette to the right, you're kind of thinking they're silly because they're teaching you to compensate for something that doesn't need to be compensated for.
Yeah. That's a plus. They keep telling me that the right's harder when it's so fucking easy.
Because you're left eye dominant. So to you, turning right is easier because you are getting that the lead eye is the eye that loses the spot first as you're turning. So as you're turning towards your dominant side, it's harder because you lose where you are easier. And so, and add to that your eye tracking issue. So turning to the left, you're losing that spot quicker. You don't know, you have a huge, larger blind spot for your turn. And because you don't track so easily, it's hard for you to pick that spot up right away again. Especially since they're asking also, let's add another quirk to this. They're asking you to do all that with your bad, lazy eye.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that that's what they're asking you to do. They think, oh, Leta's right hand dominant. We're going to teach her how to turn left the way that a right eye dominant person would do it.
I don't think that's how any of life works.
It is not. But I think that's another thing, the difference between neurotypical studios and a neurodiverse studio like ours is the neurotypical studio is assuming everyone's going to be right eye dominant. And I'm guessing the few people they think are left eye dominant are the ones with left hand dominancy. But those are few and far between. It's actually more common to be left eye right hand dominant than to be left hand left eye dominant. You're giving me a look.
Don't you mean right eye dominant, left hand dominant?
No, it's actually really common to be right eye dominant, left hand dominant. Right eye dominant is the more likely domination. Right eye is you are more likely to be right eye dominant than you are to be left-handed. You're giving me a look. You are more likely to be right eye dominant than you are to be left-handed. There are more left-handed people in the world than there are left eye dominant people in the world. The brain is weird. The brain is weird. It's like total cuckoo banana brains. But no, it's actually, and you are very likely to be right, or left eye, right hand is more common than left hand, left eye, which is weird, but probably because there's more right-handed people out there that you have the bigger combo of right hand, left eye, right hand. But
You say it left so much, it sounds just ringing weird and like a made up word. You're saying it so much. Hell, people are probably gonna be done with this video
but
and think this is like the time I've heard that I heard fork too many times in a sentence where the word became
well,
weird for a
even
week.
so, even our reading and our writing is meant for, and I'm going to make a lot of my left-handed friends out there upset. Our reading left to right, your dominant eye is the one following that whole time. Or not following, your dominant eye is leading the whole time. Your dominant eye is following the whole time. So you're seeing the letters a little bit later because of how the domination work, or that the eyes work. Your left eye is way stronger than your right eye. It's going to process quicker. It's going to process fast, or process. And we're talking nanoseconds here. And I know nanoseconds are splitting hairs, but we're in science, and nanoseconds are nanoseconds, are they not? But a nanosecond's the difference between being able to stand up while you're pirouetting and fall down to the ground. And I don't think dance and art like to live over in their own little world. And I love that about them.
They talky too much.
They do talky a lot.
Why they
But
talky so much?
but on the other hand, when you're dealing with something that's not typical, it's not necessarily neurodiverse, because your left eye domination has nothing to do with being neurodiverse. But you see basketball players who are right-handed who shoot left because you want to focus with that left as you're shooting. Did you realize that?
Me. Wait,
I
I don't
have
watch basketball.
That's right. But you'll see golfers who are right-handed, but they golf left because they're left eye dominant. Anything where you have to have eye coordination, hand-eye coordination, or even in your case, just body-eye coordination, you absolutely need to know which eye you're dominant with, because that leads to better training. That leads to better results. And the fact that this is not something
Still need to work on the hand eye because I embedded it.
but I mean, the thing is, you see a lot of. Did Bucky just attack you? They stuffed Bucky just attacked you, didn't it? You were attacked by Valentine's Day Bucky. So I think that's one of the things that sets autistic wings apart, is it has always, like, I know your ophthalmologist is laughing hysterically at me going, you knew, Amanda. And there were a few, words.
Oh, like how you also knew because it was explained in the doctor's office. The thing was the writing thing. You know that thing that you said that you didn't know, that you asked if I knew, but I didn't know because I don't know. I didn't forget what it was freaking said by
Okay,
my
so
doctor.
was it the doctor or was it Miss Rosa at OT?
It was both. It was
Okay.
both.
So
She
obviously
said
it
it
was
right after before the doctor. It was both. She said to get me checked for it. Then the doctor said I had it. It was both.
let's be honest,
Like seriously, I was 6'7" and I still freaking remember that.
let us be honest. When we were leaving your ophthalmology appointment,
You were
it had
halfway
been.
asleep.
No. See, what you don't remember, Bucky is still there. Do not jump scare yourself. Don't push Bucky further into your bag, or you carry the insane. What you don't remember, because it wasn't important to you, and I appreciate that it wasn't important to you, is that at the time, I had spent 2.5 hours going, she's got a lazy eye, her right eye is lazy. And your ophthalmologist has spent 2.5 hours telling me, no, she's got dyslexia. She's left eye dominant. She doesn't have a lazy eye. And I'm like, she's got a lazy eye. It's ever so slight, but it's there. Can we go see what he did?
Yeah.
Okay, so back from the Jack interlude there. All right, but no, I was not the mom who was paying attention to a lot of stuff. I was kind of like, she's got a lazy eye, she's got a lazy eye, she's got a lazy eye. And at the very end, your eye went lazy. And she's like, oh my gosh, Mom, if you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have been looking for it and I would have never seen it. So I've spent the last, 7 years working with her on a professional level, making it very clear that I know what a lazy eye looks like. Let's be honest, it is really fun to walk into some other child's IEP and look at your ophthalmologist and go, afterwards, I know what a lazy eye looks like. But now I have a feeling the statement is going to be returned, and I know what left eye dominant looks like.
I have one thing.
What?
What's gonna happen if they see this?
Oh, she's gonna laugh hysterically because I still use her for IEPs in that area. Hence why I got a hold of her yesterday and went, hey, fun fact. Did you know she has left eye dominant? And your ophthalmologist was like, fun fact. Yeah.
Wait, when did you ask this?
When I went shopping, I've got her home cell. I have her cell number.
Shopping.
Yeah, well, you were doing stuff. I went shopping.
What else did you ask her?
I kind of said that Leta's upset because she doesn't have can't seem to pull certain Pokemon cards. But I mean, she was laughing, going, "How is it that Leta can't pull the boring cards?"
You mean energy?
I mean energy. Energy is important.
14.
You have been
That's a
collecting.
regular amount of cards people pull, even though I've gotten like 50 decks over the past 1 year.
You have had multiple decks over multiple years, and you have somehow, like, you pulled.
15.
I bought you a trainer pack, which hopefully has energy. We're going to go to the store today or tomorrow and hopefully go get you energy cards because you have been pulling cards for years now, like since, COVID started. There were a couple of years there that was hard to get booster packs and everything because of COVID, and it went up. But you pull cards on a regular basis, and you have like hundreds of cards and 14 energy cards.
No, it's usually like 9, 8 something.
Do I want to know what that doggy is doing now? No, I
Nope.
don't. Why didn't we not close the door on our way down?
I did.
And how is he not in the basement?
No, he's probably near a door.
I think I heard him in the kitchen.
No, I just saw his butt finally get up.
Okay, so
Now he's
but
in
let's
the kitchen.
get back to the dancing portion of this, and not how your ophthalmologist is smart on some things and I smart on.
This quicker so I have lunch.
But when you are doing pirouettes, when no one interferes with how you are doing pirouettes, is it easier for you to do a pirouette?
Yeah, and I go spinny and 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 hyper folks said and think about dance. So tight.
But here's a question, because no one
have annoying boys up.
Physically, you look like you're doing a pirouette the same way everyone else is doing the pirouette.
I go turny.
But it aggravates teachers that you're not doing it mentally the same way as everyone else is doing it.
I go turny.
If I might try to pull some information from your neurodiverse brain, when you are turning, what are your eyes doing to the best of your knowledge?
Staring off into the blur. And I go turny. I go turny. I go turny.
Are you picking? Okay, so when you're typically training a dancer, you tell them to look at a spot on the wall and you turn, keeping that spot.
Then I get dizzy.
And therein lies the Are you 100? Could you just check and make sure he's on the stairs? And then yes, let's hurry up so that we can do dinner. No, but I know you're just staring off into the void, but when you pick that spot on the wall, especially if you're turning to the right, how much harder is it turn?
I get dizzy and fainty, and then I collapse.
How easy is it for you to pick up that spot once you turn?
Easy. I just go spinny, 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 winny, winny, spinny, winny,
No,
dinny, winny.
when you are doing it the way you're told to, when you're picking a spot on the wall, you're looking at that spot on the wall and you're turning and keeping your head straight until you turn all the way around and then you catch that spot, whip your head around and catch that spot again.
You know those comedy shows where the person just keeps falling and falling and falling and falling and almost falls off a cliff?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like that. Except I don't almost fall off a cliff.
Now let's bring up the difficulty level just a bit. How much harder is it when they have you doing it into a mirror?
I almost hit the mirror. Well, that and probably almost go into a mirror dimension.
Which is that neurodiversity in you, because neurodiverse people tend to
I wish this was Harry Potter. Because then if I hit the mirror, I could go to the train. And then Hogwarts.
Okay, technically it was a wall, not a mirror.
Yeah, but there was one scene where they went into a mirror.
Yes, well, anywho's, how much easier is it at our studio where we are taking into account where you're not being told, because okay, back it up here just a minute. How many people have told you that you need to get past your limitation of your eye tracking not working and you picking a spot on the wall and doing it the way they want you to do it?
A billion. Even the people close to me.
Is it and how many people, I mean, in reality, when you're going right and you can do it really well going right and they want you to go right eye dominant left, how many people have told you to just get over that limitation and do it the way that they think you should do it, not caring about that limitation being like hardwired into your brain?
All of them. I have also heard them admit that they would say the person who has a missing leg could just randomly get a new leg. Even though that's not how the human body works. That's how axolotl works.
What accommodations do you need for learning to pirouette?
Don't be a meanie.
You know,
I know
that-
Spotty. Don't be a meanie. I just go turny, turn, 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 turn.
you
Turny,
know,
turn, turn,
don't
turn,
be
turn.
meanie should not be an accommodation. Okay, that should just be like, don't be a meanie. I'm sorry, that shouldn't be like your first accommodation. Please, adults, understand that my body does not work the way you want it to. Please don't be a
Please
meanie.
don't be a meanie. That's all
That
the
should be a-
accommodation I need. Please don't be a meanie. Oh, also, actually pass high school because you damn well should pass high school.
You can
Not
pass
because you
Leta.
should pass high school. Somebody make high school less easy for the idiots to pass.
Let's put a pin in that one, because you can pass high school fairly easily without taking a lot of sciences. And I understand not everyone's going to be as into science as like I am or any of our friends in the scientific geeky community.
Who would be into adorable animal science?
That's okay. I had not a current teacher of yours. Let me fix my mic or camera. Not a current teacher of yours, but someone who we know in the dance community. I was saying that you need a few things, and I mentioned that you are playing, not just collecting, but you're trying to build a deck for Pokemon. And their response was, "Oh, I didn't know her dyslexia allows her to do Pokemon."
There's fucking pictures. There's fucking bullshit pictures.
There's
And
words
the
on there.
ones I can point to was the people I could just store the card for the people to understand. I can turn cards for people to read that aren't me.
One, it's kind of easy.
Plus, there's a number near the fire thingy, so I know how much damage Because it's an actual fucking number and not fucking words to tell me a fucking number.
Not to mention, because I was mentioning you would not mind having a couple Japanese cards in your collection, would you?
Damn dyslexic. I can't read small print. I won't mind. I can't read the gods anyway. Said the print's too small.
But they were like, oh, but how can she tell that there's what character is on the card?
Fucking bullshit. Fucking picture. Are they blind? Are they blind?
Like,
Are
that's
they
not quite
fucking
what
bullshit
dyslexia
blind
means.
now? Are they bullshit
Well, I
fucking
mean,
blind?
how are you supposed to know it's Evie? It's not like you've
Let's
never.
see. The sign of Eevee is Eevee. I know what Eevee looks like. I know what fucking Eevee looks like. There's fucking bullshit pictures. Fuck them.
Outside of not being mean and not being a bully and not using nice words, not hateful words, and understanding that maybe my eyes don't work the way you think they do.
Just please don't be a meanie.
Okay, honestly, that should not be an accommodation you're asking for. You shouldn't be going, hi, the number one accommodation I need in life
Please
is for
don't
you.
be a meanie. Please. Please don't be a meanie.
That shouldn't even be close to the number one accommodation you're asking for in dance studios. That should be like so far down on the list because you're not
Wait,
asking that.
I was going for just dance studios.
Okay.
I wasn't going for
But you're
everyone
not-
in life.
For people who may be tuning in for the first time, not turning in, bleh, you're talking about the actual things teachers have said, not things kids have said. And it shouldn't be please don't be a meanie when you're talking about adults. Adults working with kids.
Kids are nicer. Also push. Teenagers surprisingly are good bodyguards.
Against adults.
Yeah.
Which should not be the case. But even what would be another, like, would it help you if when they were doing pirouettes, they maybe, I don't know, went to an adult who could explain to them what the mechanics of working with a left eye dominant kid would be?
Yeah, also what was your question gonna be?
Would it, there's some mirror issues in there too. I know the man in the moon knows that there are so many studies showing that autistic kids have issues with mirrors.
Man, was I evil?
Especially when you're moving into a mirror. Like when they're sitting there putting you in front of a mirror, it messes with your brain. We have studies that show that.
Man, was I evil?
Our studio, I will honestly go in and tell a teacher to turn a kid around and go, hey, you don't understand. This child cannot do this. This is not a limitation you can get past. This is their brain is wired not to do what you want them to do. So here's how we're working around it. Do you sometimes wish that those accommodations, like, hey, Leta, with your autism, can you deal with this in the mirror? No. Flip around. Don't look in the mirror while you're doing it.
Are you saying don't be meanie is an accommodation?
Okay, it goes back to being a meanie, because how many teachers have told, now that we're dealing with this, how many teachers have put spots on the mirrors or something on and sat there and told you that you're going to do this, not, I don't want to say not caring.
I don't care. I had one teacher that literally told me that she didn't care. She even freaking cursed.
I think a lot of those teachers don't understand what they're asking you to do. These limitations are actually finite limitations. These limitations are not like with your dyslexia. We're trying every trick in the book to find you a program that actually helps you learn to read. But we know that the tricks are out there for other people because other people have done that. But with turning, your eye is never going to switch which eye is dominant, and turning a pirouette.
Oh, does this count as a better thing to ask for as a accommodation than the don't be a meanie thing?
You mean asking teachers to understand that your left eye dominant means that how they're teaching you to turn right needs to be how they're teaching other dancers to turn left, and how they're teaching you to turn left is how they're teaching other dancers to turn right?
No.
understanding that teaching you to pirouette in a mirror is going to like send every synapses in your brain into freaking overload?
No. Please don't be a meanie about my hyperfixation on the history of My Little Pony. I don't care if it's fake history. And please don't be a meanie on my hyperfixation of zoology. And please don't be a meanie on my hyperfixation of Pokemon zoology. Because I just like Pokemon zoology. And I just like Luna. Can I just like Luna? Why do they have to be a meanie about me having my favorite pony be Luna? What's so wrong with having Luna as a favorite pony? I don't get it.
No, see, that shouldn't be an accommodation. That should not be. I mean, I cannot emphasize this enough. What you're
Luna. I just like Luna. Can't I just like Luna? What's so wrong with Luna?
I'm not saying that that's something wrong with it. What I'm saying is we have so many teachers who, and it's across the board. It's in elementary schools, it's in middle schools, it's in high schools, it's in gymnastics, it's in soccer, it's in coaching this, coaching that. We have so many people working with youth who don't
are meanies.
are meanies. But I think some of these accommodations that you're asking for, you shouldn't have to have an accommodation because you like Pokemon and you understand the evolution, you understand the zoology, and you know everything there is to know about Pokemon.
What's so wrong with liking Luna for a favorite My
And there
Little
is nothing wrong with
Pony?
having Luna as your favorite My Little Pony. Okay, nothing at all.
I mean,
You
this one person was really mean about it because they said my favorite icon in My Little Pony is Luna, and it was like so mean about it, and it was going off a Nightmare Moon, and I was thinking you're jealous, but Nightmare Moon was basically a virus, you duck. And Luna's the best character, and she has the same problem with interacting with other ponies as like me and interacting with other human beings. We both have social problems and don't understand social cues in the slightest. And we both have violent issues.
The thing is, that shouldn't be a thing. I mean, you should be able to like Luna. That's not my statement. My statement is that adults working with kids have to understand how to work with kids. And we see a lot of idolizing the position, thinking that if you work with kids, you must be good, and not
Some
thinking.
people idolize being an adult.
No, I think it's that we assume that if you're working with kids, you must be good working with kids, and we don't listen to the kids about what the issues are, which honestly is half the problems you've had in dance studios is they're not listening to you, not just over Luna, not just over like who's your favorite Pokemon, because I've had people come up and go,
Eevee.
but your reasoning for liking Eevee is not everyone else's reasoning for liking Eevee.
Eevee can be anything. Eevee can be all. Eevee can be all. And I can ADHD the hell out of my life.
And what does Eevee have that most other Pokemon do not? The ability
She can be anything. She can be everything. He is the most powerful.
She gets to choose her destiny. She gets to choose who she becomes.
Yeah. And she gets to be derpy while doing it crazy.
So if anyone would like to come on a Friends Friday and talk Pokemon lore with you and bring it into autism, you're like, please get a hold of us.
Please.
Going back into
Please.
well, let's be honest. One of the great things about Pokemon, and then we're finishing back up on the dance world, is Pokemon. You know, we've got kids coming in wearing the Pokemon gear. I mean, Pokemon is not necessarily.
You're legally adult until that's the most crazy thing ever.
But Pokemon isn't just for, like, you can be neurotypical like Pokemon. You can be neurodiverse and like Pokemon. Pokemon isn't limited as much as, like, say, your cousin who does Rubik's Cube. Because I'm sorry, I have yet to meet a single competitive person that does Rubik's Cube that is neurotypical. You guys have
diagnosed not neurotypical.
Yeah, but
She
what I'm
also
saying is,
never speaks
no, but
to me.
I mean, this is going to sound crazy, and we're going to bring it back to the studio in about 2 seconds. But I know so many people who are like, "Oh, I'd love to be able to do Rubik's cubes," and it's like, well, you know what you need to do is you need to become neurodiverse, and then we can talk.
That's it. For anybody taking that literally, no, I can't do Rubik's cubes. The
No,
last
but
time I tried, it ended good for every human being. It did not end good for the Rubik's cube.
no, but I think a lot of dance studios, one, they have that, and I think we should talk about this next week. That whole, oh, well, we're all a little autistic.
What the? Oh, what next? We're all a little bit missing a limb? Or what next? We're all a little bit have a major sickness that makes us bedridden? Or what next? Just give me what next and I will freaking punch you in the freaking face!
I had a few dance teachers, because you do wear out your knees, and this is not the disability Olympics here, but they were
knees are bad.
but they were comparing my MCL, because when I tore my MCL completely because of my painkiller issues and everything, the statement was, well, I guess you just don't have an MCL. Multiple on orthopeds and a physical therapist decided the same thing. And all these guys are like, oh, yeah, I too wore out the cartilage on my knee. And I'm like, that hurts. Don't get me wrong. I have arthritis. It hurts.
You have
What?
none of that cartilage. None of it.
Well, in one of my knees, no, I don't have any cartilage. But on the other hand, the fun fact is I've had arthritis my entire life. So trust me, I know what joint pain is. This is not the disability Olympics. We're not trying to see who has it worse. But they were like, well, why don't you just go get a knee replacement? And I'm like, my MCL and my meniscus membrane, they're not like what you guys seem to think. That these are part of that like metal thing, and I get it, but I'll just take my hinge.
Wait, it's a muscle. You can't replace a muscle. It's a
You
muscle.
can, it's just
Yeah,
a
but
heck of a
that's
lot more
just,
intense. And it's not a muscle, it's a ligament, so it's a part of the muscular system, but it's not a muscle itself. But I think I see everyone going, "Oh, and they're like, "Oh, well, I too have hurt my knee." And I'm like, "Technically, I didn't hurt my knee. I hurt part of the knee entire system, but the MCL is separate than the
How come
knee."
I'm the violent one and you and Dad are not violent?
I do cross stitching. I go stabby on fabric. Anywho's, but I think that's the same thing, because I can't hold my heels up and tap, which you're supposed to do. I can't tap dance anymore because we won't give me the accommodation of putting my heels on the ground. We got dogs, and my baby talk started because they're puppies, and we had to talk baby talk to them. Did talk baby talk to you your entire life?
Baby talk to Champ.
Yeah, but Champ wasn't a baby. Champ was a full grown.
What do you mean?
Dog.
That was a baby.
Was baby as in he was our baby, but he was not a baby when we got him. He was 5 freaking years old. These two were like still puppies. So, any more, like, back to the studio, and not just because I'm guessing they want Rarity or what's her name as your favorite ponies.
Now, apparently, because you know how you usually tell people that I was born in Las Cruces because of the yeah, possibility. I was born in Las Cruces, so apparently Applejack should be my favorite.
Why would an apple orchard pony be your favorite for high desert? I'm very confused.
I don't know. Apparently, because it has a hat. Apparently, hat and robe. Apparently, this is thought I lived on a barn and a farm. In a barn, which makes no sense because what farm person lives in a barn? You don't live in the barn.
I know a lot of places they don't even have a barn. I mean, you got to be one rolling in the dough for a barn. I mean, shops and stuff but barns are really stable.
Oh, and also because of the shyness, I thought my favorite pony would be Fluttershy, because I'm shy. and Fluttershy is shy, and her name's Flutter was shy, and I was shy.
What I'm hearing is the accommodation you would like is to actually, let you be an individual, that they have
Yes.
a blank
And
slate.
just let me like Luna. And also they asked when then because I said Luna was my favorite My Little Pony character. Then they asked what's my favorite character from the main friend group, and I said Pinkie Pie. Apparently, I'm not allowed to like the most autistic pony with Luna in the whole show. She's so freaking autistic. It's Pinkie Pie.
Oh, Pinkie Pie, definitely. I mean, I don't think she was meant to be or written as autistic necessarily, but
Well,
Pinkie
no, the
Pie
best
is.
autistic characters come by accident.
I don't know
If
who
you
was
try
seeing
to
themselves.
write an autistic character, it ends up terrible and like a world of crap. If you don't need to write it, every single autistic person is just gonna go slap label autistic. Bam!
There is one show on YouTube that it has it right, but it's written by autistic people.
Yes. Like, no offense to the neurotypical people out there, but sorry, at this point, I'm pretty sure the only way you can write an autistic person is A, if you're autistic, and B, if you did it by accident and just did not notice. And just did it fully on accident. And just did not notice. Also, there are any autistic people out there who think you can't write a good autistic character if you're neurotypical on purpose. No, the bias in there, no. How much bias there is in there, no.
Yeah. So
For the bias, no. You just can't. If you're neurotypical and that level of bias, just no, that's gonna end bad.
No. Back to eye dominance, back to lazy eye, back to needing accommodations in studio.
Yeah. Please don't be a meanie.
Outside of don't be a meanie. And that's not that I'm, a terrible, horrible excuse for a mother. I really don't want to be that mom saying.
Oh, then
But
please don't be a meanie about me being a nerdy.
Okay. But no, like, would it benefit, like at our studio, obviously I'm the one sitting parents down going, hi, no, I need to know what accommodations your child needs, and I'm not lying. I need to know the accommodations, and I needed to know them yesterday, so pony up that information, right, Leta?
Yes.
You're like, it's a couch of tea, but it is not. Sometimes it is me asking for like actual diagnoses.
You made a tea corner without me. I am still demanding.
Would it, for all those neurotypical studios out there who are like, I want to give accommodations, but I don't want to allow limitations. But limitations like your eye is not going to miraculously switch which one is dominant and which one is lazy. Would it behoove some studio owners and teachers to understand the difference between a actual limitation and a stumbling block?
It would behoove them to get an actual education.
They do understand. Okay, so here's the thing. Most dance teachers, and let's be honest, most teachers do not spend any time with SPED. They do not spend time with special education. You do not have to have special education in your background, which is problematic because they're working with special ed kids and they don't have the training. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
I'm not disagreeing. And a lot of these studios that say, hey, we are accommodating, do not understand what that word means.
Then why are you meanie? Then why are you meanie about me being a little naughty? Why are you meanie about me being the child of two naughties who's a naughty?
Let's wrap it up because I need to feed you. We're going to be interviewing for Miss April's podcast.
I'm a hungry nerdy.
You're a hungry nerdy. And I did promise you we would go try a couple of the Pokemon shops in town to see if they have any energy cards, because for some odd reasoning, you can't pull energy to save your life.
Like I said, I'm a hungry nerdy.
All right. So Friday we have Barb on the podcast. Barb is a therapy dog worker who takes her therapy dog in to work with students in school and has some interesting ideas of how to utilize the dog, not just for reading, because we all know therapy dogs and reading programs have been amazing, but she's also using her dog for math, social studies, and language arts. Wasn't that interesting, Lita?
Yeah. And I was listening and accidentally fell asleep. I was listening and accidentally fell asleep. The dog made too comfy of a bed.
You had Jack Elvis as a pillow, and you two had been up all night because Jack Elvis was having a bad night. But yeah, that I think that one's going to be an amazing one. I can't wait to see where Barb's research takes her. I think we should talk to some of the local play therapy dog train or handlers here in our area and the teams here in our area and see if we can't bring them into the dance studio.
Yeah.
If people want to support Your Dance Studio, which is a nonprofit 501c3 that gives out scholarships to these
It's our
dancers,
website.
go to www.autisticwingsdancecompany.org. Link in the description below.
That's too many letters and words for a thing.
We are currently trying to get a new building space. We really need a much larger space. We have pretty much gone to where we can with the space we're in, and we have families calling us almost daily asking us to get their kids into dance. If anyone's listening in the Denver area and the Colorado Springs area, they're a dance teacher and they're willing to learn what it takes to work with autistic kids, are we looking for volunteer teachers too?
Yes. And I'm still hungry, nerdy.
And you are still nerdy. All right. And back on the donation things, if you donate $10 a month or $20 a month for autism awareness and for next month too, probably, you get a key.
Hello, thank you for watching the podcast, and please subscribe, and also look at the adorable paper. So if you want to subscribe for it, and also please leave a like, and don't forget, if you subscribe to us, that you won't miss any of our new podcast feeds. And also, did you see the adorable paper? Don't you like it?
Keychain. Do you have one sitting beside you by any chance? A keychain made by Leta herself. Do not throw it at the camera. It is a cute little resin keychain. She's pouring the resin herself. She's making them in the molds, and then she's putting them on the chain and everything. So yes, you do get that if you donate. Anything else you want to say before we sign off other than you're hungry and nerdy?
I'm hungry.
All right. Well, we will catch everyone Friday for Friends Friday, and we will see you then. Bye.
Hello, thank you for watching the podcast, and please subscribe, and also look at the adorable paper. So if you want to subscribe for it, and also please leave a like, and don't forget, if you subscribe to us, that you won't miss any of our new podcast feeds. And also, did you see the adorable paper? Don't you like it?